Shukadeva Goswami, equally intelligent as befitting the spiritual master of Maharaj Parikshit, answered the king and confirmed that his statement concerning atonement was correct. A sinful activity cannot be counteracted by a pious activity. Thus, the real prayaschitta atonement is the awakening of our dormant Krishna consciousness. There are some recommendations to do prayaschitta, to counteract. But the problem is, because our desire, our heart is not clean, therefore we again repeat the same thing. It's like the grass. When you eat the grass, it is said that the goat, when the cow eats the grass, it will eat the grass in a way that it will not uproot the grass. It will just bite it off, and then the grass grows again. But when the goat eats, the goat uproots all the grass. That's how the goat eats. So there's a difference between cow eating and goat eating. It is said that in Vedic times, the Sahara desert that is existing in Africa, there were actually cows before, and it was a very, very fertile land. Very fertile land in those days, Vedic times. And the cows were grazing grass and everything, very plain, fertile fields. But then the Muslims, they started to rear goats, and that's when the entire thing became a desert. The entire Africa became a Sahara desert because of the goats. So, anyway, our sins have to be uprooted, like how the goat eats. The sins have to be completely uprooted. If the grass is cut, it will grow back. So this pious activity, this prayaschitta is just like cutting grass. Okay, the sinful activity has grown. Okay, cut it off. But the root, why the sinful activity is growing every time, that has not been addressed. The root is only going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. So this prayaschitta is it's not at all, because although I am trying to counteract, the heart is not becoming cleansed. So a sinful activity cannot be counteracted by a pious activity, although superficially it can be counteracted, but it will not uproot the desire which causes that sinful activity. That's what we need to be addressing. Taistanyagani puyante tapodana vratadibhi nadharmajam tadridhayam tadapi shangri sevaya. Although one may neutralize the reactions of sinful life through austerity, charity, vows and other such methods, these pious activities cannot uproot the material desires in one's heart. However, if one serves the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, he is immediately freed from all such contaminations. Tasmat sankirtanam Vishnor jagan mangalamam hasam mahatam api kauravya vidhyaikantika nishkritam. Uproots all the sinful activities just by sankirtan, yajna. So, devotional service to Krishna will uproot the sinful desires. It is not just the sinful acts. The sinful desires are the ones which are the root cause of the sinful acts. They manifest. The sinful desires manifest as sinful acts. But it is the sinful desires that have to be uprooted. Thus, real prayaschitta atonement is the awakening of our dormant Krishna consciousness. So, awakening of dormant Krishna, if it is actually dormant. Our Krishna consciousness is dormant. It is already there. Nitya siddha Krishna bhakti sadhya kabhu noy shravanadhi shuddha chitte koraya uday. This is Bengali. What is that? Nitya siddha Krishna bhakti sadhya kabhu noy. Krishna consciousness, Krishna prema, the love of Godhead, is not something to be achieved. It is already there, innate. It is just covered. So now, koraya uday, shravanadi shuddha chitte. So by hearing, etc., beginning with hearing, all the other services, shuddha chitte, our heart becomes purified, cheto darpana marjanam, and then koraya uday, the same that love of Godhead will manifest. Prabhupada gave the example of gold. When it is mined from the ore, it is when you see that gold, it doesn't look anything like gold. It looks terrible. It doesn't shine, nothing. But when all those oxides and all the minerals and all the contaminations, dust, everything is taken out, then you can see the gold in its purest form. So, Krishna Bhakti is already there like that in our heart. But it's just covered with all these oxides and minerals and dust of materialism that we have accumulated on top of it. So that's why it said Krishna Bhakti, what is that? Bhakti? Nitya Siddha. Sadhya ka bhuna. It's not something to be sadhya, to be achieved. It's already there, just it has to be uncovered. Real atonement involves coming to real knowledge, and for this there is a standard process. When one follows a regulated hygienic process, he does not fall sick. A human being is meant to be trained according to certain principles to revive his original knowledge. His original knowledge, it has to be revived. Such a methodical life is described as tapasya or austerity. One can be gradually elevated to the standard of real knowledge or Krishna consciousness by practicing austerity and celibacy, brahmacharya, by controlling the mind, by controlling the senses, by giving up one's possession in charity, by being avowedly truthful, by keeping clean, and by practicing yogasanas. So these are the purificatory processes. However, if one is fortunate enough to get the association of a pure devotee, he can easily surpass all the practices for controlling the mind by the mystic yoga process simply by following the regulative principles of Krishna consciousness, refraining from illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication and gambling, and by engaging in the direct or in the service of the Supreme Lord under the direction of the bona fide spiritual master. This easy process is recommended by Srila Rupa Goswami. So, apparently, compared to the yogis in Himalayas or all those mountains, we are not doing such a severe tapasya. Just no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex. This is not as difficult as all those big yogis they do in the mountain caves and all this. So it's far less severe, but it is far more effective because we take shelter of Krishna. We chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we do service, we engage in Krishna service, and that's what gives us the strength to overcome all these things.